Okay, so I will get started. Good afternoon, Varsha, and thank you so much for joining us for today's interview session. We are so happy that you could be with us today. And before we get started, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Amar, and alongside my partner,
I am Nadia. We are English communication student from College Professional Mara Seri Iskandar Perak, and today we are going to conduct an interview session with you in conjunction of our Pragmatics in Intercultural Communication assignment. Alright, so let's get started. Marsha, can you introduce yourself to us and explain a little bit about your background?
Okay, good afternoon and thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Varsha Ramesh and I'm currently a year 1 student at AIMS University, year 1 pharmacy student. So I come from a Tamil speaking Indian family and along the way I've also had the privilege of studying in a fully residential school, a Sekolah Bersama Penuh, where Malay was the primary language that I use every day as part of the communication. Now, as part of a multiracial university community, I interact daily with peers from various backgrounds, mainly Chinese and Malay students, while conducting my studies in English. So, this blend of linguistic and cultural exposure has made me more aware of how communication plays a critical role in learning teamwork and also personal growth. So, I'm very excited today to share some of my experiences and thoughts of how language, my culture, and my upbringing will influence my communication, especially among my friends.
so first and foremost, we want to say a big thank you for agreeing to be part of our interview today and taking your time to be with us. Now, let's move on to the first question, okay? For the first question, do you think the language you grew up speaking, like Tamil, Malay, or English, affects the way you think, behave, or see the world around you?
Okay, yes, I definitely believe that language that we speak or use daily shapes the way that we think, express ourselves, and relate to others. So at home, I speak Tamil with my family and also English. But during my secondary school years in my fully residential school or Sekolah Bersama Penuh, Malay was the main language that I used. So all of the conversation with my friends, daily activities, and even like casual jokes were in Malay. So it did really shape how I built relationships and understood the people around me. And at the same time, English has always been a key part of my academic life. So from understanding like my subjects in school and to now I'm studying all of my subjects in English except for NPU subjects. So I rely on English for precision and for clarity in technical subjects. So like even in simple like everyday situations like explaining a class update like in a group chat, right, or helping another friend understand a lecturer's instructions, I notice how I instinctively switch between languages based on who I'm speaking to. Like for example, if I'm speaking with a Malay friend, then I would probably speak in Malay. If I'm speaking to a Chinese friend, I would probably explain to them in English. So it's not just translation; it's about adjusting and adapting of how I think and respond. So yes, the language I speak have actually changed both my communication style and the way I interpret the world.
Thanks for sharing the insight, Varsha. Okay, let's move on to the second question. Have you ever worked in a group with students from different backgrounds or culture? Did you ever change the way you speak or act, like using a different language or tone, so it is easier to fit in or get along with others?
Okay, yes, I experienced that quite a lot because from my primary and my secondary school, throughout the whole like 11 years, I have constantly been with Malay friends only. So I guess it didn't really affect me because that's how my environment has always been, which is around Malay people. But especially since starting my degree in university, my batch consists mostly of Chinese students. So while we all communicate in English for academic work, many of them will speak Mandarin among themselves. like especially during casual conversations or when discussing things quickly. So at first I did feel slightly disconnected, not because like anyone meant to exclude me, but just because it was their comfort zone. So I didn't really take it personally. Instead, I made the effort to stay engaged, and I asked questions, and I was a part of that conversation whenever possible. So I also picked up a few like Mandarin phrases here and there just to make interactions smoother. So what really made a difference though was adjusting my tone to be more casual and friendly rather than being overly formal. So once my friends saw that I was trying to be approachable and genuinely trying to connect, they also made an effort to include me in the conversations and group activities. So I didn't change who I am, but I adapted to the surroundings. So that made a big difference in how we work together. So I believe that I do not adjust not because I want to blend in, but because I want to create a more open, respectful space where everyone, including myself, will feel comfortable to contribute.
You explained that very well, Marsha. Okay, for the next question, sometimes we communicate without using words like through facial expression, eye contact, or gestures. So, how important do you think this nonverbal signal when working or interacting with people from different backgrounds?
Okay, I think in Malaysia, obviously, like non-verbal communication plays a huge role, like in a multicultural environment, like ours. So even though English might be our main medium, not everyone has the same level of fluency or confidence in expressing themselves. So that's when these facial expressions, body languages, gestures become really important and play a key role. So I remember like during one of our small group practical sessions, a classmate was unsure on how to ask a question. So she looked around like she hesitated and she didn't really say anything. But just by noticing her body language and eye contact, I could tell that she was confused. So I offered to go to help her go through the procedure again. And she immediately opened up to me. So that's when I realized that even a simple nod, smile, or a reassuring expression can make people feel more confident and comfortable. And on the flip side, I've also learned to be more careful because a serious or a blank expression can sometimes be misunderstood. So in many ways, being aware of like non-verbal cues has helped me build better communication bridges, especially with peers who may not be fluent in the language that I speak.
That's such a great explanation, Barsha. Let's move on to the next question. The places where we grow up, like our home or neighborhood, can shape how we talk, behave, and understand others. How your upbringing at home affects your communication with your friends?
Okay, my upbringing at home has definitely shaped the way I communicate because I grew up in an Indian household, and we where the main language was Tamil and also English. And growing up, I was always taught to be respectful and to listen carefully before speaking, and to always be polite even during disagreements with other people. So these values are very deeply ingrained in me that they naturally come out in how I speak to my friends or my peers, my batchmates, my lecturers, just anyone in general. So I think mainly in university this has helped me a lot, especially when working in groups or handling misunderstandings. Like if someone in the group is being too quiet during a conversation, I make it a point to ask for their opinion so that they don't feel left out. Or if there's a disagreement, I try to assess the situation calmly instead of taking sides or speaking at an elevated tone. So it's very beneficial to apply the basic values we learn at home, like um, empathy, patience, humility, to shape how we interact, especially in high pressure university settings. And I'm sure not only in Indian households, in even Malay, in Chinese, in different households, we are taught to be respectful, to be to be humble to people. So that those are the values that I think we should all practice in our daily life.
Oh, that's such a great answer, Varsha. Moving on to the next question. Sometimes we face conflict with people who are different from us, maybe because of their culture, religion, way of speaking, or even how they were raised. May I know how do you handle conflict?
Okay, conflict is very inevitable, right? Especially when working with people from different backgrounds, different upbringing. So, what matters is how we choose to respond to the conflict. So, I believe in resolving issues through empathy and honest communication works. Based on my own experience during a group project one time, a classmate missed two deadlines for assignments, and everyone was visibly upset because, yeah, obviously they missed their deadline for the assignment, and it would somewhat affect our marks too. And some even wanted to exclude the person from the group. But instead of confronting him in front of everyone, I messaged the person privately to check in. So because maybe they are going through something in their lives, maybe they're tired, maybe they are not feeling well. We don't know. We don't know what's happening around them. So I asked the person, and they opened up about having trouble adjusting to the workload, and they were afraid to ask for help. So after that, we reshuffled the task, and we somewhat managed to, help the person catch up. So that experience reminded me that we see everything superficially, very on the surface, and not always the full story. So people communicate differently. Some people who are extroverted, they tend to be more direct, and if you're introverted, you probably would be more reserved. But by being patient and asking questions, we can understand people around us better and can also prevent unnecessary tension. So I've learned that conflict, when approached with kindness and understanding, can actually strengthen your relationship and build mutual respect.
Okay, Varsha. This is the follow-up question. How did you or other person try to solve the problem? Looking back, what did you learn about handling conflict with people who are different from you?
What I learned is that when they are different from us, their style of approaching something might not be the same as ours. So we must learn to adapt and to notice the indifferences between us, so that you can, even though we might be from different background, different upbringing, we might speak different languages, we might look different, but when you want to make friends, when you genuinely want to build a mutual understanding with that person, talking to them or building a more deeper connection, adapting to whatever that they feel like is right, I feel like that's very important. So that's what I realized in handling conflict.
I see. Thank you so much for your insight. So, and with that, I think our interview session has already come to an end. Okay, thank you again for taking your time to share your experiences with us during our interview session.
For today, your response will be very valuable for our assignment, and we really appreciate your willingness to help. So we are grateful for this opportunity and looking forward to work with you again in future. So once again, thank you so much for your time, Barsha.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Just like a final words to add on, I've come to realize that communication is not just about language. It's about empathy, adaptability, and also mutual respect. So being surrounded by friends, people from different cultural backgrounds has given me the opportunity to grow in these areas. So whether it's switching between Tamil, Malay, and English, adjusting my tone, observing body language, I've learned to be more self-aware and more open-minded. So I may still be young, but these experiences have already taught me that effective communication goes beyond speaking well, and it's about communicating with people in a way that's meaningful to them. And I believe that these skills will not only help me in my university life, but also in the future as a healthcare professional. Because just like in life, how we communicate and how we communicate can make all the differences in life.